All right, I'm recording a show. It's Wednesday, October 15th, 2025 at 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm doing this because I don't want to do this. If you're expecting a great interview, this is not the one. I don't know why. For the last week, I've just had pretty insane anxiety, and this is more so for my own personal future reference use. Um, just in general, because it's always easy for me to look back and kind of, I don't know, soak myself in wisdom and say, oh, well, this is what you do during anxiety attacks, and this is what you do during depression. And it's a lot more difficult when you're in it to feel it or to understand it or why it is. So yeah, I've been feeling it since about last Sunday. So what's today? What did I say today was the 15th? So a week ago was what, the 8th, 7th, 6th. So I don't know, whatever show, not show, whatever. Gee, I'm so out of it. October 5th. Um, and I've actually been very good in my own mind about kind of sticking to work. I also find when I'm anxious, I want the heat on. It's just like a warm blanket. Um, but yeah, I did shows all last week. Uh, and so this, I think I said this in a locals video last week that I probably should just upload instead of this. But in short, number one, after my brother died, I was always trying to figure out why I was anxious. I mean, aside from the obvious ones. And I think for some things, it is not only important, but vital to find out what is causing this. Why are you anxious? Why are you depressed? Because it is a feedback system it's a feature, not a bug. Now, if you look around and your house is a mess and there's, rotting food and you haven't showered in a month and your rent's late and you're drinking at 9 a.m., that's a very good thing to look at and go, why am I feeling this way? Oh, it seems like I'm feeling it because of this. Other things you can look at and you can change those things and then that will, help alleviate the anxiety. Other things you can look at, you go, oh, I'm feeling this way because, whatever, 9/11 was yesterday. 9/11 2001 was yesterday. You're like, okay, that's fair. You really can't affect that, but it's okay to understand where it came from. Okay, now move forward in whatever ways you can. What I found a couple years after my brother died, when I seemingly quote unquote took care of things, and by taking care of things, I mean moved home with my parents, recognized that I was an absolute mess and desperately needed psychiatric help and medication. Then for several years, I would always be trying to find or reverse engineer why I felt that way that day. And I got enough sleep and I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I would kind of go crazy trying to find out why that was. And I don't think it was until maybe like a year or two ago, maybe even a year ago, like very recently in my life, that a lot of times, if it's a kind of a chronic anxiety, a generalized anxiety, what I'll do is I'll literally pull up, like Spectrum Internet and Main Power, and I'll be like, my bills are paid. There's food in the refrigerator. I'm losing weight. I'm sober for whatever, almost 2 years now. And blah, 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 blah. And I still feel this way. And it's helped me to go, you don't have to know why. And you don't have to look why. Again, the major ones, like, why do I feel this way? Well, I'm selling crystal meth on the side of the podcast. It's like, well, that's an issue because that will end you up in prison. Like, but for other forms, I'm like, it's okay to just feel this way. the next kind of point I'm making, and again, probably more so to myself than the podcast, is I used to get like really drunk on like Thursday or Friday and like play video games, and that's not the point of what I'm getting at. What I did find was that I would finish my last show, then I'd crack a beer, and then I'd be doing the last work that I do at the end of the show, which is put it in iMovie, equalize the audio, make the thumbnail, uh, make the compressed thumbnail because some websites say it has to be less than a megabyte. Make sure the description's there. Upload YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, Spotify, make it sure it's all there, put everything in there, and then make sure to put out the Spotify link on Snapchat, Instagram, wherever, and then make sure to send the link to the all the just you know. And so much of it after thousands of episodes had become muscle memory. Just don't even pull up the notes, copy paste, make the date, TPC, the title is this, the name is this, blah blah blah, send it. That as soon as I would start to become intoxicated, I mean like half a beer in, I would look at it and I would go, I'd find myself just staring at the key and I'd be like, oh, this is normally on autopilot. Wow, I actually don't know what to do. I'm like, oh, I had to go through a checklist. And the only way I could describe it is like when you borrow a friend's car, doesn't matter how close it is to your car, but let's say it's not close at all. You can no longer just kind of whip around like it's an extension of your body where you know exactly how long it takes to brake and speed up and the turning radius and the blind spots. You got to focus on it more. And I would find that when I would get like drunk. And then if I ever got high, it was like 1,000 times worse. So I've taken edible and I'm like, I don't even, what websites? And then I'd be like, I don't even know what my password is. And then I'd forget that I just have like fingerprint pass. Like my point is one thing I've been trying to do more. So the realization about not being able to find out where the anxiety came from was probably around a year ago. The thing I'm talking about right now is probably only a couple months ago. So it's very new in my life is that I started to view anxiety as that intoxication. And the routine, the autopilot stuff, is actually an anchor to pull me back down. And so, whereas sometimes anxiety is like, no, I just want to curl up in a ball, I've actually found to just go through the motions. And you don't have to think about, I'm anxious, I don't like this. Just go through the motions. Get up, open the blinds, drink some water, brush your teeth, come upstairs, turn on the computer. Like right now, I'm re-uploading everything into YouTube. Start that, you know, gym clothes on, drink a lot of water, take a shit, okay, and then after around, and you turn the audiobook on, get an hour of audiobook in, you know, go to the gym, do your workout, get on the treadmill. On the treadmill, I answer the emails and the texts, and I go through all of it. I come back and I meditate. And I'm finished meditating, I come in here and I do the podcast and the Zoom and the audio and make sure I'm recording, and I finish that, and then go through everything, make the dinner, do this, do that, just go through the routines. And it doesn't matter if in your mind you want to scream. What I found is that anchor can start to actually pull you back down. Now, right now is when it's when the anxiety starts to last for, a week or more, it can start to get to you and you start to have like the delusional thoughts of like, oh my God, what if I never feel normal again? And that's bullshit. the the routine doesn't necessarily doesn't on if it sometimes it'll make the anxiety go away. You don't even realize it. You'll just start to realize you're kind of feeling normal again. There's times like this where I go, okay, it's not making me feel normal again, but it's making me feel more normal again. So it's like, I'm sure morphine can make a broken femur go away like that. Not Tylenol, but I don't know. I never got into opiates, but maybe like a lesser, like a Vicodin, probably doesn't make it go away, but it makes it less bad. And so what I've been doing is just kind of anchoring myself to that. And again, the reason I'm doing this show is because it's very easy to say everything I just said when you don't feel bad. It's very easy to sit back and well, let me dispense wisdom to you. It's very easy for me to look back and talk about, the immediacy after my brother died or living at home. But it's like you're not there. And so I'm doing this kind of more for me that I'm in it right now. And the next time this happens, and it will happen again, stick to the routine. The things I don't want to do, just do them. Go take the ice trays out and make new ice. Do the dishes. Go put your laundry away. Go do this, that, and the other thing. It doesn't matter how much you don't want to do it. Do it. Do your meditation. Do your prayer. Just do everything and just stick to it and just keep walking on that path. And a lot like meditation is you just focus on the breath. And it's like walking up. I've only gone hiking like once, but you just kind of keep going up the path. You slowly, it doesn't happen all at once. Well, there is like the tree line, but then you kind of start to notice how high up you are. And it's because you just stayed on the path. And I think it works for anxiety too, is just stay on the path. And I know it works for depression. That's been the go-to for depression, but it's very new in my mind to do it for anxiety. Anxiety, I'd always treated differently. I'd always babied it. Now, panic attacks are something different. That's something where you go, hey, show yourself some grace. You don't have to do this right now. But we're right now where it's like, yeah, I'm a little more jacked up than normal. And again, being your own boss and building the podcast and never having any month of revenue ever guaranteed ever. I have no contracts with anyone. That's not my choice. It just, at any given time, any one of these things can just say, we're no longer paying you, fuck off. But even that, I've just come to accept that as like as a baseline, as a threshold. But um, for this, I've found that, I look back at the last week and it's like, yeah, well, it's not really helping because I'm just not, even my dreams are all fucked up. Yep. But I think if I had not been doing this for the last week, it'd probably be a lot worse. And to just kind of keep just left foot, right foot, just keep going forward and doing the things. And I've also found that I always try to be contemplative and, not just meditation for when you do it for 20 minutes a day, but then I try to be somewhat mindful of things for no other reason than just to explore the nature of reality more. So, well, why does working out feel good? Well, you have things you can put down on paper. The blood vessels dilate and you release endorphins and kephalines and endogenous whatever, serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin. Okay. Um, and then there's an ego thing. You go and you look at your arm, you go, hell yeah. There's the sex thing. You go, oh, I like it when I get positive feedback from fem. And as the meme goes, and it is true, 1% of the feedback you get as a guy from lifting weights is from females, 99% from dudes. And what the worst thing is it's not even gay dudes. It makes it so much worse. If it was gay dudes, it would be kind of funny. It's just other dudes asking you how to do it, and it's whatever. There's the accomplishment. Hey, I got up and I did that thing. Um, and then there's, are you aligning your chakras? It's like what Ram Dass would say is like you got to get straight to go for enlightenment. You can't neglect everything else. It's all one system. And that's all well and good. and to examine these things and think about these things and the use of music and higher tempo music with more beats per minute when you're doing cardio versus weights. And when I'm kind of where I am now, I purposely try to dumb myself down, and I don't need to understand why I'm going to the gym. I'm going to the gym because it's the thing I do. I don't need to understand why I'm listening to an audiobook. I listen to audiobooks so I can continually learn and be more aware of the world and history. Now, right now, I'm listening to Operation Gladio, and it's not the best book to listen to with anxiety. It's probably not good at all, but okay. So even now, doing this podcast, which I don't need to do, it's not like I need an episode done. I have several, for the next couple days. I always make sure I have a couple, so in case something happens. I don't want to do this show at all right now, but I'm doing it because I don't want to do it, and I'm doing it because it's the thing I do. I don't need to worry about how it's going to be received or how it's going to be viewed or how it's no, no, no. Dumb it down. Stick to the routine, but don't get too deep into the contemplation of the routine. Like when I meditate, there's a lot of it's trying to get closer to God and to self-love and self-forgiveness and empathy to others. But in that clear state, I can also kind of project the podcast. And it's not a job I just get to go to Monday through Friday. And well, what about this? What about the new plant being built? And that's above my pay grade, dude. I do data entry. You don't get that with this. I do have to track where next month, or 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. And I have to look back at the previous 6 months, 9 months, year, 2 years. How accurate are my predictions? What lessons have I learned about turning the cruise ship? And there is no, it's like they did, I think the pilots of the SR-71 Blackbird, they said it's a 3 second plane, meaning every 3 seconds you have to look at all the gauges and uh like talk to the guy behind you. And they said it's exhausting. It's not a plane where you're just cruising. It's a 3 second plane because you're going Mach 3 fucking 20 miles up. And then the other side's like, well, then why do it? Well, you get to fly the SR-71 Blackbird. It's like, so why do it? Well, like, I get to be my own boss and do a pot. Like, okay. I've found to just like let that part go, put that part down because it is a necessary part. I mean, even things like, should I get back on YouTube? Like, what are the chances of the next president being a Democrat? Is it going to go back to censorship policies? Should I even do this? You're constantly, and again, it's fine. I chose this. What I'm feeling like I am now, I take the all the projections and I bring it right back down to today. I have to do this, 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 eat dinner and go to bed. What about tomorrow? Don't think about tomorrow and go through it. And then as you kind of come back down to reality, then you can bring back up the projections. Okay, how much is Rumble paying? How much is Spotify paying? What about YouTube? How is this going to switch? What things have I done? How different ways can I do it? If this revenue source immediately falls off, how do I plug it up here? What savings do I have? How much of it's liquid? How much of it's are hard assets that take some out? Do I have an emergency fund? Where is it constantly going? You don't have to do that. You just have to you can be in the back seat of the SR-71 because if you've been doing the projections every day, you do have somewhat of a solidified path to where when you don't feel good, there's not a whole lot of damage done by not doing the daily projections. And so that's kind of the the needle I'm trying to thread right now. And then, as you start to feel better, you can get back to like the project. And the reason I call it like you have to do is because I don't, the projections aren't fun. It's just, it's again, you're the driver in the car. Even if it's a car you know well, you still can't be 100% in the conversation with everybody because you're driving. And actually, when you start to kind of feel better, the projections can actually become fun. They can actually be thrilling. It's terrifying to be in the ocean. I've never gone anywhere in the ocean, but it's terrifying to be out there in a storm. I'm sure, explorers really. I mean, you legitimately didn't know if there were sea monsters, if it was the edge of the world or whatever. I'm sure a lot of it was horrifying. The flip side is the the thrill is unlike anything else. To be out there and be like, you're going where no one else has gone. And even now, just in doing this show, just talking, it's kind of bringing me down. I'm still not where I'd like to be, but the show isn't. And that's another thing is when you're anxious, I feel like so much of it is you're thinking about the things you have to do and how bad they're going to be. Versus you go to the gym and okay, you get down there, you're like, fuck, I just wish I was in my room. And then you're like, fuck, there are people here. And then you kind of just start going through the motions and then you finish and you go, oh, yeah, no, I've done this thousands of times. Okay, let's go back up to the apartment. Like, oh, man, I really don't want to meditate. I don't want to be alone with my thoughts right now. It's like, just do it. And it doesn't even have to be that good. Even if you come out of it and you go, that meditation did nothing for me, you can go, but I did it. Even it's like, I don't want to do a podcast. I don't want to talk. I don't want to be on a camera. I don't want to be on a microphone. And now, even just 10 minutes later, as I'm doing this, I'm like, oh, it's not the end of the world. I'd rather be wrapped up in a warm blanket with nothing to do. But I'm here and I'm doing this, and it's not the end of the world. It's actually it's actually quite easy. Wow. It's actually quite easy. Now, none of this stuff makes is not evident until you do it. And as you go through, you go, oh, it's really not the end of the world. It's really not the end of the world. And I can look back and go, man, I've kind of felt this way for 10, 11 days. Okay, but here I am. I'm doing podcasts, I'm going to the gym, and I'm dieting, and I'm saving money, and doing my responsibilities, and I'm working with the whatever, and blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay. And so that's kind of just how it all feels right now. And everything I said today doesn't really mean anything if you're saying it when you feel fine. You're sitting back, you're on a podcast, and you're talking shit, and you feel like you're in control, and you're just whipping around the podcast like a sports car, and that's easy. The challenge is days like today where it's like, yeah, I would rather an EMT come put a syringe of Valium into my neck, but I don't have that. I have this, and so this is what we're gonna do. And okay, so I love you guys. Thank you for watching.